player, but you're looking at Ignar as the man to pilot that one. Still definitely a flex that they can lean on.
A three-way flex too, because the top lane Gragas sees plenty of play, even if the win rate hasn't been massive. Taking the first pick, Gragas here.
Taking their time as well, just making sure that they're thinking about it. Not going to be a jungle Gragas though, by the looks of things, as Trick going to go back to a favorite of his over the last few series.
2-0 on the Kindred. He knows there won't be an explosive cast to make mincemeat out of the Lamb's Respite. See if he's going to be locked in here. The Kindred play has definitely leveled off a bit in recent matches, as teams have found it very difficult to close games with Kindred because you don't have another person who can face check, and sometimes the Baron is tricky to pick up outside of a 20-minute Baron. However, BBQ going to take away that Kindred. Will we see something like the Varus Tahm Kench taken on blue side? Because with where the draft is at, if you're not going to be going towards the non-marksman, it's pretty hard to answer that duo.
Yeah, certainly a lot of options here, as the Tahm Kench Ashe would be the China special.
Sure.
To come in from Bang and Effort. Almost said Bang and Wolf, because last time I saw Bang playing a considerable amount of Ashe, it was certainly with Wolf. But Effort back on a little bit more of a disengage style support. Not going to be playing that Pyke anymore. As Tempt thinking about the Zoe, was banned in game 1, ignored game 2, and now might be just picked up on the red side here by BBQ.
Can Zoe and double ban against the Zoe? You could take away a Galio, for example, that SKT would definitely consider pairing with their initiation champions they now have. The Ashe does relieve the pressure of the Kindred pathing a little bit because you have the Hawk shot in order to be able to spot. Not quite as useful against the Kindred as it is against Nocturne, because sometimes pick for Crazy. Maybe BBQ don't know for sure which lane assignment it is till SKT reveal their solo laners. What SKT has to do here, probably going to be ultra safety, you'd imagine, but the LeBlanc is available. That was the option that wasn't looked into. Will we see Pirean bring the game onto himself a little bit? Fun stuff, he will.
Yeah, LeBlanc going to be locked away here for SKT. Can Pirean actually do his best Faker's LeBlanc impression is the question. His impressions of most of his other champions have been pretty good, apart from maybe the Orianna.
And now it's a pick comp for SKT. A lot of pick CC on their side. And snowball very hard with vision control. What goes well with a pick comp? But lane dominance, this will be Tal returning to the Jace. Very much a power early to mid-game draft for SKT.
Well, now are they actually going to pick Crazy's champion here and decide to go with that bottom lane that you were talking about? Could certainly be an option here to try and give him some more control. Not a lot of champions that work fantastically well into the Jace, given his general power, but looking at Morgana Pyke to be played against SKT. A lot of support champions on the map here for BBQ if this one is going to be locked in, and Ignar going to try his hand at the Pyke on the bottom side.
Ignar gets the 5th pick. Pyke awesome.
Yeah, throws down the ultimate, dodges the one from Blank, but yes, he did get the reset on the body slam, but the cooldown is not quite enough. Trick flashes forward, wants to try and go 1-for-1 here, but he's only level 5, no Lamb's Respite to come in as Blank. He's going to die to the minions. That's going to easily pick one up there for Trick. Maybe a little over-aggressive, but Blank didn't have flash to get out.
But it was so important that Trick actually got the kill there because he was level 5 and Pirean would have got the pop easily. Hits level 6 from the kill.
Helping him. He was the man that had pressure on the top side of the map. Crazy. He was underneath his turret. That's an easy one. First mark, I believe. Second mark would have to be going over to Trick as the arrow is going to land. Lamb's Respite comes in very, very early, keeps Trick alive, but he wants to be able to flash out of here. Does have the stopwatch to keep himself in there, buys time as Effort just eats him up. Okay, Trick going to be taken down as the hammer gets laid in there from Tal. Abyssal Voyage, SKT even want more, but it's cancelled in the end. BBQ are going to back away, but they suffer the loss of their jungler.
The executions from ahead in game number 2 are how BBQ grew a lead. From behind, not so good here. Don't get the interrupt. Effort body blocks for Blank. That will be the Rift Herald. Should be mid lane turret following it up.
Yeah, Ignar was trying to get in there for the interrupt, but doesn't get down there. And Rift Herald will get a full charge onto this outer.
As we know, unless Infernals and Mountains are out there, not always going to be worth it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more difficult. Okay, Ignar gets himself a Bone Skewer, and Effort is going to get stunned up. Oh, Trouble Bubble from downtown out of Tempt. They should be able to get this, but the ultimate to turn it around, and Effort actually just wants to keep himself alive. Trick uses the ultimate to keep himself up, but it's going to be the Tahm Kench eating the Kindred, and they trade 1-for-1. That is not what BBQ wanted, because Tal's on the bottom side, hyper driving through this turret.
Trick and Ignar with the negative synergy as Tal in the 4v5, like you mentioned, is the one who's able to push up. BBQ aren't going to be the best siege team. It's a Morgana, after all,
for slowing down this game, not falling into a rut, as that cute little ward off to the side is certainly earning its keep for BBQ as Ignar takes it. Mimic Distortion, and now Effort's going to fly forward. Abyssal Voyage is going to get bang the kill onto the Pike. It's once again the problem Pike situation, as Soul Shackles are not enough to stave off SKT, and this could be the 2 picks, especially when it's the bottom lane, to get them to Baron.
The battle to get Baron Vision eventually burns BBQ, been on the back foot for the last 5 minutes. Onto the Baron. Trick has plenty of information about this, both the HP value and also knowing what's happening around the corner.
Relatively dangerous as Pirean. He's going to be the last line of defense here as he pops back to the initial distortion. The Shock Blast very close to locking down Temp, but he can still do damage from afar. The Trouble Bubble not going to be able to find the Jace though, who's now just trying to get everyone away from this Baron pit, namely Trick, who can't get in there in time. Effort extraordinarily low as Blank gets the smite, and it's actually, no he doesn't, the double smite was actually utilized there as Effort goes down. Baron is going to fall, and BBQ not able to even get to the pit.
Sort of beautiful execution from SKT around the Baron that's escaped a lot of teams this week. There was some vision topside for BBQ, but they had to invest heavily to get it. It's a great Abyssal Voyage play from Effort. They launch in bang, they know that from SKT. They've already got 2 inhibitors in bloodless fashion. Third turret really low. And they cement this one.
Nexus turret's being taken down by Pirean in the meantime well, as they're happy to 4v5 in this siege with the Baron. They'll take down a Nexus turret and their last remaining inhibitor turret, and now the base is well and truly in shambles. Does SKT even need to go home? The Baron buff wears
a couple of kills in the early game, and when Ignar's roams never paid off. The negative synergy that we saw in that one fight with the Kindred ult and also the Pike ult was not something they had the latitude to make, and now SKT just need to close the game. They should be the 2-1 victors here. It would be insane if they were not.
Well, they just managed to go home and spend about 2,000 gold at least each. As the cast goes completely wide from Crazy, the Q's activated from Bang, who does get piked back in, but that might actually be to his credit, as he's tanking up the turret. Pirean jumps forward as well. Lamstra's fight is now on cooldown, and that means BBQ Oliver's team are about to fall down. That Shock Blast was huge, but it doesn't matter. The Nexus is going to go down, and SKT a 2-1 victory in the end.
Well-deserved victory for SK Telecom T1. They keep rolling in with this Fakerless lineup 2 series in a row, and while they do drop game number 2 and give a lot of people pause, they end up closing the series 2-1, and it was not close in game number 3. Their fundamentals were strong. Mandu and Bengi come into the booth. We don't see Coma anymore, but 2 games in a row, they've been able to pick up the match victory. People will wonder, how much will this be the new norm for SKT? When will the great man come back? Because right now the match score is suiting SKT.
Well, I think Faker's getting some well-deserved rest, and Pirean's getting some well-deserved stage time, because he has been a great addition to this squad. Now the LeBlanc, an undying performance. He didn't necessarily crush the Zoe, but he did his job.
Next, after this match over, BBQ can only beat the teams they're put in front of you. So today, on the 3-match day, they play against BBQ. They will face Jin Air in a couple of days' times, and you would imagine they would come in favorites for that series. They certainly will be higher seed at the time.